What's up, everyone? It is Brent, and welcome to the very first Work in Progress After Dark podcast, coming at you every Thursday, 11:30 p.m. Pacific. I'm not in California anymore. 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about whatever I feel like talk about, mostly video games, anime, manga, TV, entertainment, things like that. Today, we're going to do, for my first podcast, I'm going to do my very first tier list. We are going to do a Persona 5 / Persona 5 Royal character tier list. And so we're going to go ahead and hop right into it. All right. Now, how we're going to do this. I have these all lined up in a specific order. They're not based off any kind of preference or things like that. I just kind of went with confidants, bosses, and then the Phantom Thieves in general. And so how we're going to do this is, or how I plan on doing this is, it's going to be based off of a few different criteria. It's going to be based off of, personal preference, the overall story of that character, and also what that character's confidant provides the Phantom Thieves in general. So let's go ahead and get started with it. We've got Igor. Okay, Igor's, he's Igor. He guides you through the game. He basically allows you to carry more personas. We're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna put him at C tier. We're gonna put him at C tier. He brings up your personas. He allows you to carry more personas with you. And he's got an interest. Oh, by the way, there are spoilers in this podcast, so I will be discussing the plot of the game and the characters within the game. So yeah, Igor, he's got an interesting story. He's a bad guy. He's a good guy and a bad guy. He's real. There's a real Igor. There's a fake Igor, and but yeah, nevertheless, he's helping you throughout the game, allowing you to do different things within the Velvet Room. But we're going to put him at a C just simply because the game automatically gives you all of this stuff. Next we're going to have the twins, and I'm going to just go ahead and couple the twins up with Lavenza, seeing how they are simply the same character. Hey, what's up, Gamer Critic? Thanks for stopping by. So the twins, there really isn't much to their particular story. I mean, you start warming up to them by completing the persona requests that they have. Essentially, what you have to do is you have to combine certain personas with certain skills, and it appeases them. And what they unlock throughout your time in the game is it allows you to essentially create stronger personas. By the end of it, you'll be able to create personas of any level. So I'm going to go ahead and put them at B tier. So I'm just going to do all that. Just simply because, yeah, they allow you to create personas of any level. And by the end of the game, you kind of want that. You want to be creating personas that are super high level in order to beat the bosses towards the end of the game. The next is the fortune teller. I can't remember her name, just simply because, honestly, she was one of my lesser favorites of the confidants. And her story wasn't really interesting. She's I don't know. She's not really nice to you. She hates the fact that you're like basically frauding her, proving her fraud. And I never used any of her like abilities. The only reason why I ever used her was when I was going for the platinum. Within the platinum, you have to complete all mementos requests. So I'm going to go ahead. She's going to be our first F tier. She didn't really do much for me. Next is the tower confidant. I can't remember his name either. You rank up your guns, more gun abilities. Once again, another confidant that just kind of flew under my radar. and I can't remember his story all too much just because I just didn't find it all that interesting. Um, his gun stuff does help out later in the game because you eventually, as you level him up, you're allowed to you're basically your gun um, will hit anything, even if that particular shadow or persona is immune to gunfire. So like that's okay, but just simply because like if you use guns, that's great. I didn't always particularly use guns. I only used guns when it was necessary, but it wasn't always something that I really focused on. I'm going to put him at D tier. Okay. Um, Yoshida, I think that's his name. He actually, his confidant story is actually really interesting. He's a failed politician who did some shady stuff. Um, and basically, as you progress through his confidant story, he regrets his actions, but his particular how he ranks up is really cool simply because he towards the end of the confidant stuff, he how do I put it? He allows you to communicate and try repeat tries to negotiate with personas if you're trying to get them in your party, which can be a very handy skill if you're not always particularly good at reading the emotion of the personas. So his level up skill is very it's like it can be critical. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put him at C tier. Um, it was once again, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, it's great. The reason why I put him at C tier is because another reason is because he's only available on certain days, especially in Royal. Royal, they change up how his pattern works, and he's only available on certain days. So if you miss him, it can be difficult to gain him back up. You got the reporter here, and I can't remember specifically what she offers, simply because her stuff is, I can't remember. Let me see. What does she offer? Oh, okay. So she offers basically your security level will not increase and will drop to 0 overnight. Okay. So um, that can be helpful if you're bad at like sneaking and if you're constantly ranking up your if you're constantly getting in trouble within the palaces. So it can be helpful if you're transitioning. Um, and so yeah, let's she can be a little difficult to rank. I think I'm also going to put her at D tier um, because like she was probably one of the more uninteresting confidants. Gosh, what was her name? What is this girl's name? I forgot what her name is, but we like her because she's cute. Um, Hifumi. Okay. Um, so she actually is really, really helpful. She is incredibly helpful. Her confidant, her as you rank up her confidant, her skill. Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up here. As you rank her up, her story is really interesting. She's this girl who's trying to break free from her mother's expectations. Um, and she just kind of wants to be herself and play this game on her own terms and do whatever she wants. Not whatever she wants, but she wants to do what she wants with her life. But her abilities are basically you can swap out your party members in combat, which is very helpful in case you're in a situation where you need a different like element or like just different stuff on the field. So she's gonna be our first A. She's gonna be our first A um, um, tier person. Iwa. He his story is really interesting. I believe he was former Yakuza, and he broke away from that to run the airsoft shop. and he's trying to do right by, I think, someone's son. That confidant rank was another one that I feel like I kind of glossed over a little bit, and I was just kind of doing for the platinum. Also, his what he offers you is something that I didn't always use, and I feel like I'm probably going to use it more when I return to Royal, because it allows you to upgrade your guns and add attachments to them. So as of right now, I feel like he should go a little lower, but I'm going to put him at C, just simply because he's honestly just an interesting character. Now we're going to start getting into some cool stuff here. Because now we're getting into some of my more like interesting characters. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be ranked high, but they are definitely some of my. They have really cool stories. So Kawakami, I'm going to go ahead and just put her straight in the S tier, and I'm going to explain why. Kawakami, her story is really interesting. She starts off as kind of like she's kind of like nasty to you just because she thinks that you're a delinquent. But as you progress through her story, you kind of realize why she is the way she is. And she's, doing her nighttime maid gigs just simply to make more money to appease these people who she feels guilty for killing their adopted son. No, okay. She didn't do it. She didn't kill him directly, but she feels responsible for the death of this child because she was tutoring him and he died on his way to being tutored or something. But what she offers is great, and it is really cool, especially in New Game Plus. So ranking her up entirely, you get the special massage, right? So she'll come over and she'll give you a massage. And essentially, so how that works is, say that you go into a palace. You go into a palace and you do all this stuff. When you get out of a palace, you're tired, and Morgana is going to tell you to go to sleep. But if you call Kawakami over, she'll give you a massage, and now you feel rejuvenated, and you can do more stuff in the evening. So it allows you to have that evening slot to do more things, whether it be to go talk to other confidants, rank up other confidants, or rank up your stats like reading, intelligence, things like that. So that is really great. Mishima, I'm going to put him now. Mishima is a great character, but he's obnoxious as hell. So I'm going to put him at A. I'm going to put him at A simply because his confidant, what he offers is amazing, especially in New Game Plus. Okay. So, and honestly, when you play Persona 5, you should rank him. He should be one of the first people that you complete. Here's the reason why. By the time you get to rank 10 with him, he is offering you all of these XP bonuses to you and to your party members. And when you get to rank 10, all of the party members who are not in your main party are still getting the same amount of XP as those who are in your party. So they're not leveling up slower than those who are in your party. So he's really critical throughout the game to get leveled up, especially in New Game Plus. So the reason why I say New Game Plus, why it's really good, is because if you reached rank 10, any confidants that you reach rank 10 with, basically at the end of the game, they give you this memento, and you hold on to it, and it carries over into the next game. And what the memento provides, is their rank 10 ability. Although in New Game Plus they're back down to 0, it's as if they are rank 10, and you still get the perks of having that character at rank 10, if that makes sense. So the doctor, Takami, okay. Takami, how do you say her name? Excuse me. Where is she at here? There she is. Oh yeah, Takami. I don't know. Anyways, So she is her confidant story is really cool. She's just kind of like this doctor who's creating all these weird medicines. She used to be a legitimate doctor, but because she does all this weird stuff, she was ousted. Although she still has her own practice, people frown upon her because she's always practicing these different medicines. And people are accusing her of killing this girl, even though the girl isn't really dead. But what she provides is access to her med stocks. And, you know, I didn't use her that much, but I see the benefit of her. I don't remember what carries. Let's see what carries over into the next game. Increased selection of revival items from the clinic. Okay, so like you essentially get that from in your new game plus, but like her perks weren't something that I didn't always use. So I'm gonna put her, because I see the benefit of her character. I'm gonna put her a B. I'm gonna put her a B. Okay, Sai Nijima. All right. Okay, so Sai is one of those confidants that ranks up with you as you progress through the game. Everything is automatic. Let me just kind of remember what she provides. I just need a reminder. Pardon me here. Where is she at? I can't remember. I don't even know if she's even listed in here, because she's one that just doesn't level up. But anyway, she automatically levels up. She's completely against the Phantom Thieves throughout the entire game. And she's just your thorn in her. She's just this thorn in your side. But when she finally comes to your side, she's one of your biggest supporters. But I can't remember what she provides. Let me see here. Okay, let me see what we have here. What does she provide? What does she provide? So, she doesn't provide anything. It's just story stuff. You unlock the ultimate persona of Satan for judgment. So, with that being said, I based off some of the criteria that I've put forth on to how I am kind of ranking these people. I'm going to put her. I'm going to put her as C. I don't, just simply because she's an interesting character. I don't think she should go below that, but she doesn't really offer much in the way of benefits to the Phantom Thieves in general. Okay, Papa Sojiro. Papa Sojiro, he just gets S rank. I feel like I don't need to offer any kind of explanation. Papa Sojiro is yeah. Basically, like, he becomes one of your biggest supporters. He believes in you. And as you rank him up, you can like make coffee in the shop, and the coffee's really great because it restores your SP. I didn't use it that often, but like I see the benefit of it, and he just gets S rank simply because Papa Sojiro is awesome. All right, Dr. Maruki. Okay, here we go. We're getting into Persona 5 Royal territory. So Dr. Maruki is a new character added to Persona 5 Royal. And I was having a hard time kind of placing him, figuring out where I wanted to place him in this stuff, and when I wanted to decide to actually put him on the list, simply because he's actually a very critical character to Persona 5. Sorry, my cats. He's a very critical character in Persona 5 Royal. So he is essentially the main antagonist of the Royal part of Persona 5. Essentially, he's trying to create a world where everyone lives happy, and he's trying to use mementos to do that and the palaces to do that. Essentially, his ideal world is where everyone, although everyone is essentially being controlled, they're unaware of it, but they're always happy. So um, the moral dilemma of Persona 5 Royal is, do you want to live your own life but encounter all of like struggle and hardship, or do you want to live a life of carefreeness and be unaware that you're being controlled, even though you're living a life of happiness? And excuse me, he his I understand and I feel the pain that he's going through, and I get his motives, although they are just totally warped and messed up. I understand, and he's a really great character. I like his character. His boss fight was emotional. The music behind it was epic, and it's just like this hour-long epic boss fight between multiple stages. And it boils down, like I said, this is a spoiler thing. It boils down to just you and him just punching it out at the very end, and you're just trying to knock sense into each other, and it's really emotional. And I just remember completing it. I think I beat it at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and I was just like, I was messed up. Like it was like it shook me to my core. And simply for that, I'm gonna put him in S rank. Dr. Maruki's great. Also, hopefully Billy Kametz, who voices him, gets over his stage 4 colon cancer. I was really bummed out when I heard that, because Billy Kametz is a great dub actor. And yeah, Dr. Maruki, S rank. All right. Now we're getting into the bosses. And how I'm going to judge these bosses is how interesting they are, uh, their palaces, okay, and their overall boss fight. Okay. Kamoshida. Um, uh, Kamoshida is he's the intro boss, right? His palace is the intro palace. You got to trudge through it in order to get out of those tutorials. And if you've beaten, so I've beaten Persona 5 a total of 4 times. I've beaten Persona 5 Vanilla 3 times, gotten the platinum for that, and I've beaten Royal once, and I got the platinum for that. Man, so getting through those first like 10 hours of the game to get through it's hard, and it's kind of put a stale like this sort of like bad taste in my mouth. But I got to give him credit, because Kamoshida, his villainy is what got me into the game. And I was just like, okay, like this is what it's like, basically like this is it. This is Persona 5. This is what I'm about to get myself into. You're about to encounter some messed up characters. So I got to give him credit for essentially hooking me into yeah. So we're gonna put him at B rank. We're gonna put Kamoshida at B rank. Madarame, oh man. So Madarame's boss fight. Let's first of all let's talk about the palace itself. Okay, this palace kind of drove me nutty, because you're kind of going through these different paintings, and you have to kind of figure the puzzle out. And he this is going to be a weird one to gauge, simply because like it does introduce Yusuke, and Yusuke's I really like Yusuke. Yusuke really shined in like Persona 5 Strikers. Um, he was kind of annoying in base Persona 5, but like he, in my opinion, redeemed himself in Strikers. So he's one of my favorite characters now. Madarame's boss fight can be frustrating if you don't know how to do it. But like that's kind of the beauty of Persona 5 and just JRPGs in general. You got to figure out how the boss works. And Madarame did have some pretty interesting mechanics, but the palace was overall, for me, the palace was kind of a little bit frustrating. So I'm going to put him at C. Okay. Kaneshiro. Kaneshiro, the bank is actually like arguably my favorite palace in the game, actually. Um, outside of Futaba, and we'll get to Futaba, but Kaneshiro, there's something really cool about it, is the puzzles. The puzzles were really cool. And honestly, I think Kaneshiro is actually a really interesting character. Once again, he's kind of one of those characters that I somewhat understand where he's coming from, but his motivations are once again super twisted, and therefore, and that's the whole reason why that's one of the reasons why he's got a palace, right? Because he's just kind of he's a twisted character. And then I think then his boss fight is a lot of fun. He gets on the ball, he turns into a big old fly, and he gets on a ball, and he can roll towards you. And simply his palace is my favorite. So I'm putting him at A rank. I'm going to put him at A. Oh God, what is this guy's name? Everyone hates this palace. So let's see. God, why am I forgetting his name? I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Okumura. That's right. All right, we got Okumura. So Okumura. Now, let's talk Okumura. Okumura's palace, it's long, and you have to fight a lot of his henchmen within that palace. His boss fight is also a little weird. However, so here's the thing. I can understand people's complaints with Okumura. However, I had no issue with Okumura. That is a very critical part of the story in Persona 5, because essentially his palace essentially marks the end of the second act of the game, and it thrusts the Phantom Thieves into their lowest point in the game. So it's a weird place, and I feel like I'm going to get, I could potentially get a lot of hate for this, because a lot of people really hate Okumura's palace, and especially Okumura's palace in Persona 5 Royal, because they decided to like make him even harder, even more of a nightmare. And it's timed. The boss fight is timed, and it's just like whatever. But I did not have a problem with Okumura's boss fight, none whatsoever. How do we want to put this? I'm going to put him at B. I don't care. Hate me. I'm going to put him at B. Okay. Masayoshi Shido. Okay. I love the boss fight from Masayoshi Shido. I hate the palace. It's my least favorite palace in the game, besides Madarame's palace. It is a frustrating palace. You turn into mice. You got to deal with all these weird statues that turn you into mice and don't turn you into mice, and then it's a long palace. Palace length honestly doesn't bother me. I don't know why I threw that in there, because it's just more time in Persona 5. Okay, so but like I'm like stuck. I'm stuck. So taking into the criteria of being a cool boss fight versus being a terrible palace. Honestly, it's a struggle. I don't think he deserves B. He doesn't deserve A. I don't know if he deserves B. It's kind of weird that B and C are kind of being matched. I don't think that he deserves D though. So I guess C. All right, we're gonna put him at C. Okay, Yaldabaoth. Okay, Yaldabaoth. Let's F. Honestly, it's the final boss of the game. Honestly, he. For me, with Yaldabaoth, it's just kind of like, okay, we got another god. Okay, we got another JRPG god, uh, um, and you have to defeat him. Yeah. So Yaldabaoth is F. I could he's a husk for you to take over. You can give him whatever personality you want to give him. You can have him date whoever you want to date. Um, uh, yeah. Joker. I'm gonna just put Joker. I'm gonna put Joker at A just because it's Joker, right? It's Joker. Okay, Morgana. Now we're getting into the Phantom Thieves themselves, and essentially this has to do with what they provide, their stories throughout the game, their confidant ranks, etc. Okay, Morgana. What? Let's see. What did Morgana offer you again? Morgana is another one of those ones that just goes with that, basically levels up with you throughout the game. So let's see, what did Morgana provide you at the end of the game? You get so cure status elements, whatever. So Morgana is interesting too. There's a point in the game where Morgana is just he's all bummed out because he feels useless. And it's really interesting. He comes at a point in the game where he essentially is useless. Okay. He's like wind. Wind is his specialty. And then he's got some physical attacks. He's got the punch, which can land a critical, which can be really important. But he's not a good healer. Eventually, you get Makoto. Makoto's a better healer than Morgana. And Morgana, he just eventually kind of becomes like useless, but like at the same time, it's Morgana, right? Morgana's great. Morgana's cool, but like as like a Phantom Thief in general, there comes a point where you just won't use him anymore. Morgana's going into the D rank just simply because he's just no longer useful. He becomes whiny towards the end of the game. Now he does redeem himself in Strikers. Morgana is an awesome party mate in Strikers, but I'm going to go ahead and just put him. Yeah, you know what? He's going to go in C. We're going to put him in C. I think he deserves C. I don't think he deserves D. We're going to put him on C. Anne. Okay. Anne, she's like your cute girl next door character who's got a dark past. She wants nothing. She wants to be more than how people perceive her. And she just people preserve her to be kind of like, you know, like, I don't know how to put it without, I don't want to say like bad words too much. Um, but she's not who you think she is. Um, and her confidant rank, what does she provide again? Um, just double check here. Um, cure status ailments. Um, yeah. And but so basically, like she doesn't offer too much in the way of anything besides an interesting character arc. And I'm gonna put her at C. I'm gonna put Anne at C. Ryuji. Okay, Ryuji is where things get cool. All right. There's going to come a point in the game where um, fighting enemies in Mementos gets annoying as hell. Okay. Ryuji prevents that. Let me double check. I do believe it's Ryuji. So there's going to come let me double he okay, chance. Okay, so yeah, when you're in Mementos and you do a sneak attack on an enemy in Mementos, it has a chance to automatically win if you rank Ryuji up to, I believe, rank 6. And and it's like, so you're just trying to get through mementos, you're trying to do your stuff, you don't want to run into a bunch of enemies, just sneak attack on an enemy, and you have a chance of winning. And if you're over leveled, you're essentially a guaranteed win. And with that, I honestly believe that he deserves A tier, because that's incredibly useful. It's incredibly useful. Now, Yusuke, I talked about Yusuke earlier, and he redeemed himself in Strikers. He redeemed himself in Strikers big time, but his confidant story, it's interesting, but the rewards, I never used the cards. I didn't fully understand how the cards worked. So I didn't use it that much. But like, in combat, he hits like a freaking train. He hits hard with his physical attacks. He's really good against the Reaper. You want to have him in your party when you're fighting the Reaper. So he hits like a truck. Yeah, he's kind of your primary physical. He and Ryuji become your kind of primary physical people. But I don't know. He hits. Oh, he's B. He is B. Okay, Makoto. All right. Gamer Critic, are you still with me? Makoto. I am not on Team Makoto. I think her confidant story is, I didn't really find it all that interesting. She doesn't provide you. Let me double check to see what she provides. Ailments, chance to withstand, prevents. Yeah, it's just like a chance to step in after shadow negotiation fails, allowing to retry. Just kind of some of the typical Phantom Thief benefits. And then, like, on top of that, everyone on Reddit and the whole Persona 5 community seems to think that she's best girl. I am like she's whatever to me. So she's really great in combat. She's a great healer. She's got her nuclear ability. She's great in combat. She is gonna go in C rank. Okay, Futaba. All right, Futaba. Let's talk about what she provides. So she can scan enemies for weaknesses. She can attach buffs to your party automatically. So that's incredibly useful. So if you rank her up entirely, she buffs you. She scans enemies' weaknesses. She'll scan floors and mementos. She's got really great confidant perks. I really like her character arc. I really like her character arc. I think how she kind of breaks out of this sort of mental shell that she's confined herself in her entire life. It was really interesting. And then, on top of that, her dynamic with Sojiro was adorable. And honestly, her character and Sojiro's character, they're very critical just to the world building of Persona 5. Futaba's mother was working on stuff that had to do with the palaces, and I forgot what they called it. And then I also really liked Futaba's palace. Futaba's palace was great. I love the level design. I love the theme. I love the puzzles. Futaba gets S rank. Okay, hate me. Futaba gets S rank. Haru is just adorable. I can understand why people are frustrated. Haru does not get enough attention in the game. And I feel like she deserved more attention. I think she doesn't really offer anything of that much use. but her psychic damage hits. She's also very, very powerful in strikers. Her physical attacks, just they hit hard. Her psychic damage hits really hard. Super great in strikers. Um, she's gonna get a B rank. She's gonna get a B rank. Okay. Now down to the last characters of the tier list. We've got Akechi and we've got Kasumi. Um, Akechi was already interesting enough in Persona 5 Vanilla, but Persona 5 Royal redeems him. Any negative qualities that you might have seen in Akechi in Persona 5 Vanilla, it's just redeemed in Royal across the board, just across the board. You finally get you not only get his original story beats in Persona 5 Vanilla, from Persona 5 Vanilla, but in Royal you actually get a true confidant ranking system, and you get to see his character arc, and you get to see him, like, there's just this point in, I think, rank 9 where he just flat out tells Joker, I hate you and I want to beat you, but you get it, like they're natural opposites. And then of course, in the Royal part of Royal, like he takes control of his life. He although he is dead in the world before what Dr. Maruki does. Dr. Maruki brings him back, but Akechi is completely self-aware as to what's going on, and he's like, nah, I'm tired of people controlling me. I'm going to help you take Dr. Maruki down, even if I know that it's going to kill me. And so his stuff in Royal is really great. I will say that as a party member, especially in the Royal stuff, it's not all that great. But I kept him in my party for the entire time in Royal just because I wanted to have more Akechi. So Akechi's S rank. He's great. Akechi's S rank. Now we're down to Kasumi Yoshizawa. Okay, the centerpiece, the poster girl for Persona 5 Royal. Now her character is really interesting. She wants to be the best gymnast at the school. She's got all these great aspirations. Now, once again, this is a spoiler podcast. We're talking Persona 5 Royal spoilers. Okay, Kasumi ain't her real name. Okay, Kasumi is the name of her sister who died in a tragic accident. Her real name is Samire. Samire. And what happens is Dr. Maruki brainwashes her into believing that she's Kasumi because Kasumi was a better gymnast. And so Dr. Maruki brainwashes her into think that she's is Samire. And the whole idea of the Royal stuff is Joker helping her break free from this brainwashing, so that way she can kind of take control of her own life again and not be controlled. Even though her life was optimal as Kasumi, she doesn't want to be controlled by Maruki anymore. Now, here's the thing. The disappointing stuff about Kasumi is her integration in Persona 5 Royal was actually pretty seamless. It seemed really great. But the downside is that you don't get to play with her that much. She hops in a couple times in some of the stuff during Side Nijima's palace. And she hops in here and there, but you don't really use her that much until the Royal stuff. And just like Akechi, her like the way the kind of stuff that her persona provides, it isn't optimal. And honestly, like, she was just in my party just because like this is Royal. Like you the only opportunity to play with Kasumi is during the last 20 hours of the Royal content. And so essentially I had to carry her just because her combat abilities aren't particularly good. And like it's just not particularly useful in the final palace. But she's an interesting character enough. I like her. She's best girl of Persona 5 Royal. I'm going to go ahead and put her at A. So that completes my list. This is actually like I said at the beginning of this stream, this is my first ever tier list. This was actually a lot of fun. I got to talk about Persona 5, a game that is honestly one of my favorites. I don't know if you can see it back there, but I have a let's see, how do I do this? I had back there, if you can see it, I have a Persona 5 shrine of all this really great Persona stuff. So it's arguably one of my favorite games ever made. So I had a lot of fun making this tier list. And if you have any so if you have any qualms with my tier list, I want to hear what your thoughts are. I want to hear like where you would rather put some other people, or if you agree, please leave me a comment and let me know some of your takes, whether it be on my tier list or where you might put someone on your tier list. I'd love to have the discussion go further. In the meantime, whoever tuned into this stream, this is my first ever live stream, my first ever live After Dark podcast. It's going to be every Thursday at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. I will occasionally stream on YouTube now. I'm looking forward to it. This was a lot of fun. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we're going to go ahead and end the stream here. And if you enjoyed this show, please consider liking, subscribing for more After Dark podcasts. It would mean a lot and it helps out a lot. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.